Boxing Day, December the 26th, 1900. A thick Atlantic fog presses down on the sea as the relief ship Hesperus slows its engines. The lighthouse should be visible by now. A welcoming flag should be raised. A signal. Anything, but there is nothing. The captain orders the horn to sound. One long blast cuts through the mist, then another. The echo rolls across the water and dies unanswered. Something is wrong. Joseph Mòr, the relief keeper, lowers himself into the boat and rows alone toward the island. As he approaches, the lighthouse rises out of the fog like a stone sentinel. No movement, no sound, only the wind and the sea. When Mòr steps onto the island, the silence feels unnatural, heavy, as if the place itself knows something he doesn't. He climbs the steep path and unlocks the lighthouse door. Inside, time appears frozen. A table is set for a meal that was never finished. Bread lies torn. Plates sit half cleared. One chair has been knocked over, resting on its side as if someone stood up in a hurry. The lamps are cleaned. The beds are made. The clock has stopped. The three men assigned to this lighthouse, James Ducat, Thomas Marshall, and Donald MacArthur, are nowhere to be found. No bodies, no struggle, no explanation, only silence. The Flannan Isles lie far off the northwest coast of Scotland, a desolate cluster of rocky outcrops battered relentlessly by wind and sea. Locals have another name for them, the Seven Hunters. For centuries, sailors avoided these islands whenever possible. Ships that passed too close were said to hear voices carried on the wind, figures seen on the cliffs, shapes moving where no people lived. Local folklore spoke of the phantom hunters, shadowy entities believed to stalk the islands during storms, luring men into the sea. Even fishermen refused to stay the night. When the lighthouse was completed in 1899, the men assigned there were warned. Never leave the lighthouse during bad weather. Never stay outside its walls after dark. Isolation was part of the job. Danger was expected, but disappearance was not. James Ducat was the head keeper. Organized, disciplined, reliable. Thomas Marshall was his assistant. Quiet, experienced, trusted. Donald MacArthur was the reserve keeper. Strong, unpredictable, and known for violent outbursts. Three men, one lighthouse, and an island with a reputation for swallowing the unwary. When investigators arrived days later, the clues only deepened the mystery. Two sets of oilskins, heavy waterproof coats essential for working in storms, were missing. The third set remained inside the lighthouse. It belonged to Donald MacArthur. If all three men had gone outside, then one of them did so without protection. That meant MacArthur, a seasoned lighthouse keeper, had run into what was believed to be a deadly storm wearing nothing but his shirt sleeves. That alone made no sense, but the damage outside was worse. On the western landing, more than 100 feet above sea level, iron railings were twisted and bent as if struck by something immense. Solid stone had been torn from its fittings. A heavy supply box, weighing over a ton, had vanished completely. These were not ordinary waves. Yet the lighthouse itself showed no signs of panic. No smashed furniture, no blood, no forced doors. Everything was in order. It was as if the men had calmly walked outside and simply ceased to exist. Then came the logbook. The final entries, written in the days before the disappearance, unsettled everyone who read them. December the 12th. Ducat irritable. December the 13th. Ducat quiet. MacArthur crying. Donald MacArthur, a man known for his strength and temper, reduced to tears. Then the final entry, December the 15th. Storm ended. Sea calm. God is over all. Those words were never explained. And there was something even more disturbing. Weather stations on the Scottish mainland reported calm seas during that exact period. No major storm, no violent winds, no conditions capable of producing the destruction seen on the island. So why did the logbook describe fear, tension, and surrender? Why did the men believe they were facing something catastrophic when the world beyond the island was peaceful? Over the years, three theories emerged. The first is the official explanation, a rogue wave. According to this theory, two of the men went outside to secure equipment during rough seas. A massive, unpredictable wave struck the island, sweeping them away. The third man rushed out to help and was taken as well. It explains the bent railings. It explains the missing oilskins. But it doesn't explain the calm weather reports. It doesn't explain why all three men would abandon safety at once. And it doesn't explain the strange tone of the logbook. The second theory is darker. Murder and suicide. Donald MacArthur had a history of violence. Some believe tensions boiled over. A fight broke out. MacArthur killed the other two men, then threw himself into the sea, either out of guilt or madness. But again, there are problems. There was no blood inside the lighthouse. No signs of a struggle. No evidence of bodies being moved. Only order, stillness, silence. The third theory is the one whispered rather than written, the supernatural, the phantom hunters. Local legends say they appear during moments of isolation and fear, that they mimic storms, create illusions, and call men by name, that once someone answers, they are never seen again. MacArthur crying, the final line in the logbook, God is over all, not a report, a prayer. Perhaps the men believed they were facing something beyond nature, something ancient. Something that lived among the 7 hunters long before the lighthouse was built. Something that still waits. Today, the Flannan Isles Lighthouse still stands. Its beam cuts through the fog night after night, sweeping across empty sea. But the fate of James Ducat, Thomas Marshall, and Donald MacArthur has never been proven. No bodies were ever recovered. No final answer ever given. Officially, the case remains unexplained, and maybe that's where it belongs. Some places don't want answers. Some stories refuse to end. If you want to be part of the archive, where mysteries like this are preserved and remembered, make sure to subscribe, because somewhere out there, the light is still shining, and something may still be watching from the fog.